And welcome to Quick Hits. This time around, it's going to be Get the Pass. And shout out to my man Aaron Schneider for the great interview that we had where we talked food and football, two things I enjoy very much. So, this next interview is going to be a little bit different, but sort of the same. I'm bringing in a good friend of Boom Broadcasting, someone who might be doing a little something in Boom Broadcasting, but I'll leave that to him for him to explain. So, my guest right now, I've talked sports with him on Out of Pocket with Michael Davis. This man right here, his name is Carsen Williams. Carsen, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. I am excited to get this interview going. And yep, you were right. I got a couple things. I got a couple things brewing on Boom Broadcasting, but just trying to get a couple things official. Get a logo, names, and stuff like that. But it's brewing.
All right, I like to hear that. So, the reason I have Carsen here is because we've had a lot of stuff happening in this week alone in the sport of basketball. And Carsen reminds me of myself because I like my basketball with a side of basketball. So we're going to be talking a little bit about the NBA. We're going to be talking about the WNBA and the upcoming USA basketball team as they go to Paris for the Olympics this year in 2024. So Carsen, let me ask you, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right, all right. So we'll go ahead and begin it with the NBA. As you know, free agency was nuts this week. We saw a
Mm-hmm.
lot of players. Oh man, Carson, it was crazy. I know that you were liking it just as much as I was. We saw a lot of players go to different teams. We saw some players stay with different teams. So my first question to you, Carson, is who do you think won during free agency in the NBA?
I think there were a lot of winners, honestly. A lot of good moves and moves that I think are going to help a lot of teams. But out of all of them, I gotta put the Thunder at number one. Uh, Isaiah Hartenstein being the biggest pickup for them. He's their biggest need. He brings interior physicality. He brings rebounding, and those were just things that Chet isn't mature enough physically to do yet. He fits well on their defense. I'm excited to see the twin towers of Chet and Hartenstein. I think that's going to be work out really well. And what I think is really important is he might be the best player to guard Jokic in one-on-one in the league. Just how strong he is and how tall he is. I mean, he's 7 foot, and I mean he's got to be 300 pounds, right? I don't know the exact weight, but he's a big guy. And so I think that's going to work out well. And they also got him just on a super reasonable contract, 3 years, 89 million, just a little under 30 mil a year. It's like 29.5, 29.6. And I think that's super reasonable for Hartenstein. And some people might call it a little high, but the Thunder just have a lot of cap right now and have a lot of room to bring in guys and overpay them if they have to bring them in. Then they also got Alex Caruso. And I love this guy so much. He's just a known winner. He's going to lead that second unit on the Thunder really, really well. He fits really well offensively and defensively with how they play. He can hit the three, and he is like the guy to get out and run and bring energy to your team, which is what the Thunder does. And I think him and Lou Dort in the backcourt is just a nightmare for opposing teams. So the Thunder are really jumping up in my rankings in the Western Conference. I could see them at one or maybe two.
Now you see why I have Carson on this show right here. He's already coming out smoking right now. I didn't expect for you to say the Thunder won, but I like the explanation. The when you talk defense, that was a big thing as well too, because Alex Caruso bringing the defense,
Mm-hmm.
Hartenstein as well too, the height and the defensive presence, the paint presence as well too. That's incredible. That's a good thing for the Thunder, and that's what they needed in the playoffs. Do you think?
Yeah, that's exactly what they needed. And it also just brings a lot of experience. Caruso has won a championship on the Lakers, and like I said, he just brings what you need. And he'll bring that experience to some guys like Shea and like Chet, who haven't been there but one time, And then Hartenstein, I think as well, will just bring that strength and also experience to Chet and let him know like these are the defensive rotations. This is where you need to be at this time. I think that it was exactly what they needed, and it's just been home runs. Sam Presti is just a genius. He's a basketball genius.
Absolutely. They're building these squads up. The Western Conference seems like they are a conference built off of height and strength inside of that post area on the defense and the offense. A lot of rebounding, a lot of elbows in the paint as well too. There's shooting involved, and there's shooters that can shoot well in the Western Conference. But I think in order to survive the Western Conference, you need some heights. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you've got Jokic, you've got AD, you've got Cat, and you've got Gobert. I mean, the West is just stacked with big guys. I mean, even like, LeBron James is still 6'9" and 250 pounds, like it's so much physicality, and that's really what you need to win the NBA championship. Like, you can't be a soft team and win. I mean, these Celtics may have been the softest team in a while, but I mean, even they physically could hold their own, So
You're
yeah,
right.
I memean, physicality is just huge. You've even got like Derek Lively, and Luka is a big guy, and you need size and strength, and Isaiah Hartenstein is just a huge guy. He's physically a huge guy, but he's also just skilled. Like, he knows where to be. He's got good timing. He's got good touch. He was what the Thunder were missing. Like, he was their big piece that they were missing.
Yeah, I would say so, because the shooting was there, but the post presence and the defense, the locking down the big guys, was not. So we will go into the second question here, which is, what free agent will have the most impact on the team that they were signed to?
Well, first off, I want to say I just love the question differential. The way that you acknowledge that, winning free agency doesn't mean you have the most impactful player. And I think that's what happened this year, because I think the most impactful player will be Paul George. He's very clearly just the best free agent out this year. He's a top 25 player in the league, and he makes Philadelphia a super team with him, Maxey, and Embiid. That's 3 top 25 players, He just also fits so well offensively. He's a good cutter. He's a good off-ball mover. He can create his own shot. He's a good defender. He's like the 3-and-D player outside of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I think that the Clippers were just a broken organization to begin with. I don't think that they were really going to win anything, and I don't think that's Paul George's fault. And I think that they were just putting too much on him. He's not a second option right now with the way that his body is not as athletic as it used to be. And I just don't think he is as a second option right now, but as a third option, he's perfect. He's like, he can give you 25 on any given night, he just needs the chances.
I think that, and you're definitely right about the Clippers. They're a broken organization. That Clippers curse is still going on. It's alive and well. It's been like that since I've been watching basketball at a very young age. It's like the Clippers just could not get over the hump. They would have good teams, that Corey Maggette, Elton Brand squad, the Baron Davis. They've had players that have came through the organization, done well, the Blake Griffin experiment. Then now you got Kawhi, you got PG-13, and then you have James Harden all on the same squad. They can't play together because of injury. And all of that wasn't all Paul George's fault. A lot of it was Kawhi Leonard getting hurt, and it was hard for them to play with each other. And so when they were on the floor, it was great, but it's just when they were on the floor, that was the only bad part of that partnership that they had. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. When they all played together, they played well. Kawhi is still incredible. He just can't get on the floor. Paul George has his injury problems, and Harden is just washed, and so is Russell Westbrook. But that's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about on Philly. It's the same thing. You've got Embiid constantly injured. or playing through injury. Kudos to him, but he's still injured, And then Paul George is now always injured, and that's going to be so. Like when it comes down to the playoffs, is it going to be Maxey? Because if that's the case, then I'm not taking them to get out of the first round, But if they can have all three of those guys healthy, then I might take them to get out of the East. It's such a guessing game, and that's why I really can't put any true money down on them. But I love the basketball fit, and if they can stay healthy, I wouldn't be surprised if they could come out of the East.
Yeah, you're right. I think that Tyrese Maxey proved that he's not built to be the carrier of the organization. And that's not a bad thing because he's young, but it's just the fact of the building around him is something that is in question. So let's go to this third question here. What move was the most interesting in your opinion?
I thought about this one a lot. I like what the Magic have done bringing in KCP. I was hoping they could maybe get Hartenstein and then just play a really big lineup. That would be really awesome, but that didn't end up happening. I got to say it's Klay Thompson to the Mavericks. You're breaking up the Splash Bros, and it's sad to see they've won 4 championships together, but the relationship has just been broken. What I find the most interesting about this is he moves to a Western Conference contender. They're going to see the Warriors 4 times over the year. And the Warriors fans and Klay Thompson did not really leave on great terms. I've seen players saying that it was Klay's fault they won that play-in game. I've seen Warriors fans saying that they don't need Klay and that they're happy they're gone. Klay is not as loved as he was in Golden State, say in like 2018, like we're 6 years from that now. And then also just the basketball fit I really like as well. Offensively, I really like it. Klay Thompson is just going to be able to stand there and wait for the ball, which he's not really built to move off ball like he used to be because of his injuries. So all he has to do is really stand there, and Luka's going to find him. Kyrie is going to find him. They're going to draw defenders off of him, and they're going to be able to hit him in the corner or on the wing at the top of the key. He's going to get good looks, and if he can hit shots like he did, not even like 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, if he hits shots like he did the year before last, then that offense is just going to be dangerous. It's going to be beautiful too. I could see the Mavericks having the best offense in the league if Klay Thompson can revert a little bit. He doesn't have to go too far. I just need him to hit his open shots.
Easily put as probably one of the best offensive teams, if not the best offensive team, adding a shooter like Klay Thompson already to the prowess of Luka Doncic, who can score anywhere, who is pretty much proven that in this year's playoffs, this regular season, being a scoring champion, the facilitator that Kyrie Irving can be, along with the young guys as well. Derek Lively, they exceeded expectation this year before Klay even got onto the floor or to the organization. So they exceeded expectations. So this is going to be very interesting to watch, especially in that Western Conference, and especially seeing that Warriors squad that he was so acquainted with over the years. So you're absolutely right on that. I got to give you credit on that, because that Klay deal was – I didn't think he was going to L.A., although I know LeBron was calling him and things of that nature. I didn't think he was going. I thought that the Mavericks fit is a better fit. Do you think that as well, or should he have went to the Lakers?
I don't know. LeBron James and Klay Thompson is just a really beautiful – I mean, maybe if it would have been like 4 years ago when LeBron athletically was still LeBron, and he could get downhill like that and then hit Klay. He's still a great athlete and a great passer, but not like it used to be, of course. He's aging. That's what happens. I really love the fit in both places, but I was just surprised that that Klay turned down the Lakers. They offered him more money, and that's what I thought Klay Thompson was leaving the Warriors for, was that they weren't offering him enough money, and then he goes to Dallas for less money than he would have had in LA. So to me, that just says there was something going on there that we weren't quite sure about. And it really all just started going downhill after Draymond put Jordan Poole, just knocked his lights out. That's when it all started going downhill, you know? And so it's sad to see how it happened. It's sad to see the de-escalation. We'll probably get a Last Dance-esque version documentary on this once that I'll be excited to watch. But right now, yeah, I'm happy to see Clay in Dallas.
I would say so too. Now we're going to shift gears because the NBA has been very, very exciting. We crowned a new champion, another new champion, no repeats in the NBA this year, which I think is pretty cool. You know, these teams that are on the come up. So watching them build, you know, watching a Boston Celtics squad fall down, but then get back up and hoist a championship is big. That Denver Nuggets squad the same way a year back. It was great watching that. But we're going to talk about the WNBA, which I believe in my heart of hearts. If you're not watching the WNBA right now, you are robbing yourself of quality basketball. Not only that, but you're robbing yourself of a Mean Girl story also too, because the WNBA has had a little grit, a little bit of attitude, not always great with what's been going on, but some of it is fun. It's chippy. We had some very chippy games, especially on Sunday with the Phoenix Mercury and the Indiana Fever. We've had some chippiness with Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky. But with that being said, between the Fever and the Sky, we pretty much know who the 1 and 2 is going to be for Rookie of the Year in the WNBA. That's either Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese. So who is your pick for WNBA Rookie of the Year?
This is a really, really good question. It's super, super impactful right now. And yeah, I might get some hate for this, but I just got to say what I believe, and I think that Caitlin Clark is the WNBA Rookie of the Year. She leads all rookies right now in points, assists, minutes, 3-pointers made. She is second in steals, and she's fourth in rebounding at 5.7 per game, which is really good at positional rebounding as a point guard. The biggest problem with her right now is 5.6 turnovers per game. And that comes with being a rookie and a rookie point guard and having the ball in your hands that much. The thing about her turnovers is most of them are good passes. It's more of a timing issue. You know, she'll pass to people who are full sprint in transition. So it's on the money. It's just that her teammate doesn't have enough time to react, which is a fault of Clark, and it comes with time and knowledge and experience. My biggest thing is that the Fever went 13-27 last year, and now they're 8-13, which is just a noticeable improvement. And to me, that just puts her over Angel Reese. Angel Reese is a generational talent. She is a game breaker on the glass. I have seen players literally pushing her into the bench so she can't get an offensive rebound because they know they are that confident in her getting the rebound, and they're that terrified of it. She's got the most consecutive double-doubles in WNBA history. As a rookie is just insane. It's just it's hard to fathom, to be honest. But I don't think she has been as impactful as Caitlin Clark is to her team. The Sky went 18-22 last year, and the Fever went 13-27, and right now they are about even. I think the Sky are beating the Fever by like 2 games right now, and that impactfulness is really the tiebreaker for me because these two are just so close. Both incredible talents, super entertaining, and are taking the WNBA in the right direction. Right now, I'm giving the edge to Caitlin Clark.
I would have to say the same. I love Angel Reese's game, that back to the basket presence that she has in the post, her shooter's touch, but the clearing of the glass is what does it for me with her. But if she's going to be around if she's around the cylinder, it's basically money because she's hard to guard, hard to contain. But that unlimited range of Caitlin Clark is something that you have to take under consideration. She can pull up and shoot it at any time. Her playmaking is something that has been in question. Of course, she pulled up the turnovers, which is rightfully so with the rookie mistakes. Also playing point guard, which point guard is so important in basketball. That is something that needs to be understood. Is playing the point guard, especially as a rookie in the pros, has got to be very, very tough. It's like playing quarterback in the NFL. So good and well, eyes are on you. Eyes were on her when the draft came. It was only a matter of time before Indiana called her name as the number one pick, and then you knew who was coming after her. It was Angel Reese. But this is an incredible race. I think is great. Caitlin, I believe, will win it, but it'll be a small margin. And those two. Now, bringing this up right here, too, how players are intertwined with each other over the years. You know how that goes with these two being 1 and 2 draft picks. Not just that, but just the fact of, I think of Bird and Magic with these two. I think that's the comparison to me. Do you think that this will carry on in the WNBA for a while?
I think it'll carry on. I think it's mostly narrative driven, though. Both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in conferences have said it's basketball, and we're here to play basketball. That's our jobs. That's what we love to do, and we're not really there for the petty drama. And of course, both of them are competitors, and both of them have made slight jabs to one another. But they're competitors, and that's what you do, especially when you're both in the rookie class. You're having this tight of a rookie race. They want to win. So, of course, I mean, and my problem with it is in the men's game, like, we do this all the time, and it's nothing is said about it. But in the WNBA, it's been this weird, like who is more petty, who's like the drama queen, it's also such weird, so weird. But yeah, I hope that the rivalry does continue. It's good for basketball. It's like Larry and Bird. It's like MJ and Isaiah, You've got like Kobe and LeBron or Tim and LeBron, like rivalries are good for basketball. We love to see it. One reason that I would give Caitlin Clark the nod here is because her gravity is like Steph Curry's, where she just spaces the floor so much because you always have to have a hand in her face. But the reason I say that is because both of these players can be compared to greats in their rookie season, which just shows the WNBA is just coming up fast, and it's getting so great.
Yes. I mean, when you get legends like Diana Taurasi, who is still balling at 42 years old, and she's playing very good basketball, getting her involved in this, it's been really a story for the WNBA. And, I watched the WNBA in its inception in 1997. I watched Cynthia Cooper win 4 straight WNBA championships with the Houston Comets. And Coop was 34 years old when she got into the league, which is incredible within itself. Lobo, Leslie, Sue Bird, Shamika Holzclaw, a lot of those great basketball players, Lauren Jackson, then we go to Brittany Griner, then we get to Asia Wilson, then we get to who we're seeing right now and how incredible they are playing right now. The fact that the veterans are getting in here, and then, the rookies are playing their ball right now, it leads me to this question here. Your thoughts on the WNBA this year? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I've loved it. I have just loved loved the direction that they've been taking. I think some of the basketball has just been some of the most entertaining, even more entertaining than a lot of the NBA basketball. I love how analytical the game is in the WNBA. I love the great fundamentals, the passing, and the way they swing the ball is beautiful. It's not as much like one-on-one, like I'm just going to take you to the basket and it's going to be me against the team. It is really a team sport that the NBA has kind of moved off of, and I love to just watch that basketball and see how it's dissected by by point guards. It's some of the most impressive things to do that at game speed is just so insanely impressive. It's why point guard is so difficult. Aja Wilson has been my favorite player this year. She's just been absolutely incredible. She's on pace to be the second player
Love her.
ever. Yeah, she's awesome. She's on pace to be the second player to ever average 25 points per game. On pace to be the third player to ever average 20 points per game and 10 rebounds per game. This is the stat that really shocked me when I read it. ESPN Analytics concluded that Wilson adds 19% to her team's win probability per game. So if she's not on the floor, basically the team has like a 1/5 chance to lose that game. It's just, that is insane impact. And then obviously, we've talked about it, but just an incredible rookie of the year race. So more entertaining than, I would probably say maybe since like LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards. Like that was a super entertaining race, but this one has just been awesome to watch. And like I said, I'm just so glad that they're finally getting national media attention. It's like we're seeing things play out, and people are still arguing that it's because like it's not as talented as the league, but we're seeing them getting more national media attention, and then we're also seeing numbers going up. Like it's clearly correlated. This is the reason why the WNBA hasn't been very popular in past years, is because they just don't get talked about. So I'm so glad they're getting talked about. I think that's the first step to these women getting what they deserve. They're the best female basketball players on earth.
Absolutely, man. I like that. It's good seeing it because it's well overdue because of the basketball that has been played over the years. And yes, you're absolutely right. The team aspect of basketball, it makes basketball a beautiful sport when it's played as a team. And when that team aspect is bought out, that's what makes basketball beautiful. Now, since we've had a good talk about the NBA and the WNBA, let's shift gears to what's going to be happening at the tail end of July, and that is the Olympics. And you know what that means. We have USA basketball getting ready to crank up, and the world is watching and the world is playing. So, are you looking forward to watching the USA basketball team this year?
Of course I am. The basketball that's being played, this is the best basketball players everywhere, all over the world, getting together to play basketball. Of course, that is so fun. And this year's Team USA team is just like the cherry on top. You've got LeBron, KD, Steph, Kawhi, Joel, Tatum, AD, Bam, Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, Halliburton, Drew Holiday. That group is, it's like the last hurrah for a lot of these guys. LeBron will not be back here, as sad as it is to say. KD and Steph probably won't be back here. They're already, 37, 36? They're going to be 40 the next time this rolls around. They won't be back. Joel will probably be back, Tatum, but this collection of talent is really, really rare. It might be the most talented Team USA team ever. I know we've got the dream team with Jordan and Isaiah and Barkley and Bird and Magic, and obviously that's like that big contender. But just the talent on this team is like all of these guys except for Drew Holiday are top 20 players, and Drew Holiday is also. We all know who Drew Holiday. So
yes.
This group is just so special. And it's definitely more talented than 2008. No disrespect to some of those players, but I love 2008, 2012. The Redeem team, but this group is more talented than that group.
I must say, don't sleep on that '96 Dream Team there with Penny Hardaway, Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, Scottie Pippen. I love that '96 squad. I grew up with that squad. I was a big Penny guy when Mike was, in and out of basketball going for baseball. I was a Penny guy. I love that squad. They were a fun squad to watch. But I'm with you on that one. This is an incredibly talented basketball squad that we have put together. Now, Carsen, if you have seen my videos on Boom Broadcasting where I'm kind of ousting the U20 football team, if you see my video on that, it hurt me to watch that. It reminded me of when the 08 squad got the bronze that year. This poor squad didn't even get a bronze medal this year, and that broke my heart. But with this happening, with basketball spreading all over the world, the fact that it's been spreading since the 2000s, the fact that nations have gotten better, the fact that Argentina got a gold medal in 08, the fact that France has pretty much populated the NBA draft this year and last year as well, too, with another number one pick. Two years in a row, France has had a number one pick. Is there any other country that you were looking forward to watching besides the U.S.?
Yeah, those are some great picks. Another couple teams. You've got like Slovenia with Luka. You've got Serbia, who has had some good basketball players. Jokic, obviously, is in Serbia. Canada has Shea and Murray. And like you said, basketball is just expanding. And it's really, like, we can really say these are the best basketball players from everywhere. We're just expanding to everywhere. Everybody's learning, and it's really fun to see. But you mentioned it's got to be France. And the only two, how France has infiltrated the league recently, 3 top 6 picks this year, pick last year. We've got a bunch of good French players in the league right now, but the two that I'm obviously going to point to are Wemby and Gobert. And the reason those two are particularly dangerous in Team USA is because there's no 3-second rule. So Gobert will be able to do what he is best at, and camp in the paint and sit there and wait for balls to come his way. And Wemby can be, he'll be it's the two Twin Towers, but Wemby is a better perimeter defender, and
yes,
it is going to be scary defensively for every other team. Gobert is a hard player to go up against. Wemby is a hard player to go up against. They make offense difficult. And it's really going to be fun to see how these rules affect Team USA players, which is something we've seen a lot happen. The change in the rules affects Team USA more than most other countries, because most other countries already have adopted these rules, So the no 3 seconds hurts Team USA a lot. I think it's just smaller courts, so they're more packed, and that hurts Team USA a lot. Yes. And then we always just see some teams like players that are in the NBA and just aren't as good always just completely pop off in Team USA. Patty Mills is somebody who I can point to the most, but I don't know if he is playing in Australia this year. But then you've got like Evan Fournier, who has been a good role player, but he's not very good in the NBA. He always goes off in the Olympics. So it's just fun to watch. It's fun to see these new rules, and it's just a new game, really. And I love to see it.
Yes, yeah, you're absolutely right. Delano Gallinari has had wonderful Olympic games as well, too. Jose Calderon went with that Spain squad that battled with the Redeem team in 2012. He had a good tournament as well, too. A lot of those guys have. But, Carsen, man, I'll tell you what, I thoroughly enjoyed this interview. I could talk basketball with you for a long time, but unfortunately, everybody's looking at their watches right now. So I'm going to let you go. But before we go ahead and give your last goodbyes, your shout outs. Tell everybody where to find you. Floor is yours, my man.
Yep. You can find me literally right here. This is on X, Carsen W32. I talk basketball a lot. That's my favorite sport. That's what I love. So if you like to talk basketball, then let's talk. I'm actually just going to go ahead and blurt it out. I will be bringing a show about the Green Bay Packers Lombardi Party, and it will be on Boom Broadcasting. I've got some things going on. It'll be probably towards the beginning of August, but you'll be able to find me there.
I like it. Carsen, thank you so much for being here. Guys, thank you for watching. And the next installment will be coming up. Don't know who I will have here, but let's hope I thoroughly enjoy it just like I did Aaron and like I did Carsen. So for Carsen Williams, I'm Shannon Smith, and this is Quick Hits.